starting. You get like, what's the format?
Give
me the format. The TNA format.
The TNA format.
Jim Cornette on his podcast a few days ago, whatever, this week, did a reading of the TNA script from a 2009 episode, explaining how Russo, or as he calls him, shitbag, would have every detail of the show written out, not just like, here's your cue for production, for music, match, blah, 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 promo, but he would detail the promos. And the first one that he read that I was just dying on, it was Stevie Richards and Abyss. And they were explaining, or he was reading all of like Abyss's parts, his nonverbal parts and everything. And then just Stevie's terrible writing within the script. And just a meeting that should be like 20 minutes, would go on forever because they would have to run through the entire show.
So basically, like, Macho Man would run his matches down, they'd run down the entire show frame by frame.
And with everyone involved, even people that, did need to hear like certain parts of each thing. And, it was just a lot of writing that, you could just put in some quick bullet points so that people know what they're supposed to do and not get all confused and stuff.
Well, then there you go. That's the intro for this week, because it's the PD Skillz Show, bitches. And we are back. And as promised last week, this is my new co-host, referee, former promoter, Chris Holler. Fucking welcome to the show, brother. So we're back, and this week gonna chat some wrestling, and we've got Mania to talk about, Revolution, and finally some more 2K gaming. So first, welcome to the show. This fucking great to have you actually here and having someone in person again.
Yeah, for having me in studio. I legit have not seen you in over 2 years in person. We have only been connecting through Zoom for this entire time. Being safe and remembering the 3 I's: integrity, intelligence, and immunization.
Jesus Christ. All right, well, that's a lie. And moving on from said lie, so Mania season, and for AEW we've got Revolution. Which one are you more excited for so far?
Revolution. So I don't like to participate in the IWC war of one versus the other. I'm old. I've been around forever. I was definitely a part of it during WCW and WWF when I was a teenager. But nowadays, whatever entertains me is worth my little time. And AEW so far has been like a throwback to WCW in a way, in terms of production, some talent and things like that. So for me, AEW right off the bat has been like the thing to tune into each and every week. While Raw and SmackDown, again, not having much time, being a father, working, blah, blah, blah. There's only so much time to watch things, and the internet's great because I can just like skim through like Raw and SmackDown. So I still know what's going on, but I don't sit down, watch, and enjoy the show like I do with AEW. Mm-hmm. So even though it's WrestleMania season and Revolution's relatively like earlier, it's still much more intriguing card. As we can,
it's also a fuller card now, right? Because it's only a week away, so like, and less than a week away. It's true. Point.
We have more to be excited about. To be fair,
it's the card's fully built.
Yeah.
And isn't too.
But
nice.
Even with the things we're hearing rumored for Mania, the attraction matches with so many non-wrestler, part-time wrestlers. Of course, some of them are still. I'd be excited to see like a Stone Cold Steve Austin return, but it's not anything to do with their current product, weekly product.
That was actually going to be my question. Does like the pending Steve Austin return, once that happens, does that maybe kind of change what you're going to be more excited about?
Well, I'll be excited to see Steve Austin, but I know I'm not going to get, you know, a 5-star Meltzer Classic or anything.
Or are
out of him.
they intelligently waiting till after Revolution, like which is a week away, to then start pulling all the big guns out?
That's a very good point. To wait for some of these announcements, like the triple threat tag team matches in 2 weeks, which will be after Revolution. And from there we should see what's happening, not only with the tag belts, but with like Orton, Riddle, Rollins, and Owens, because those 4 are some of the biggest single stars that you have right now, you know, involved in this tag thing. And I like, you know, talk about off camera, but Otis and Chad Gable are a great tag team.
Yeah,
I would love to see them, you know,
I think they should keep it.
continue
I think
on.
they should keep it. I don't think there's any good reason to have the other teams win it right now.
But they did say that Kevin Owens did confirm that he was going to be involved in a title match at WrestleMania, which leads me to believe, again, another thing we discussed before about the possibility of them winning the tag team titles there and then defending them at WrestleMania against Steve Austin. And who do you think would be maybe a good partner for Steve Austin?
I've obviously said like Shawn Michaels. If there had to be someone that needed redemption for a Saudi Arabia match, which is the fucking trend, everybody needs redemption for their last Saudi Arabia match. I think that'd be a shoe-in because odd couple, like,
And
Mike, lots of
champions.
similarity. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say lots of similarities between Austin and Owens. Really, they both do the stunner, and I mean,
Rollins is like a modern
but
day
Rollins is more like
Michaels, if we have to compare, if we have to have someone to compare with, for sure.
So stunners and flashy wrestler versus stunners and flashy wrestler. That'd be my pick if they're going to do it for the tag team titles. And that would make sense because then that would also be their other Austin level surprise.
Yeah, and Corey Graves like also hint at like being excited about something to do with Texas that's not Austin as well. And so another hint to maybe possibly something with Shawn Michaels.
It's going to be Corey Graves versus The Rock.
It could be Corey Graves versus Vince McMahon. So another rumor is that Vince McMahon is going to be entering the ring at Mania in an actual competitive matchup.
Yeah. And some people are saying Pat McAfee.
And I think that's coming up this week or this Thursday.
I don't know.
Pat McAfee podcast with Vince McMahon live.
I could see them doing something a la Trump versus McMahon where they each have a representative.
But Pat McAfee, like the antivirus. Pat McAfee, I can't even say his name now. He doesn't need somebody. We know he can go. So I would see him still being involved, but a proxy for Vince McMahon, likely Austin Theory.
But then he's off the rest of the card for announcing after his match, and I don't want that. He's too good.
He's more valuable behind the booth than he is in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have him missing, like, because obviously it'd be like at most midway through the card. But it's 2 nights too, so you're at least going to get a full night of McAfee. And I mean, that's fine, but I don't know. I don't want to see him wrestle.
What about with the title?
And I don't want to see not just him. I don't want to see fucking McMahon wrestle.
You know, a 78-year-old man or 76 or 78.
If Flair's not allowed to have one more, and Hogan's not allowed to have one more, then Vince McMahon's not allowed to have one more either. Like, that's fucked up.
Well, you know, Vince can work it in a way where he doesn't have to do much other than his big.
Well, I mean, Vince McMahon could probably also beat up Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan at the same time. So,
well, whoever was supposed like, if Vince is in this match,
in current
he's
form,
probably just replacing the original participant of the match that was supposed to be in it, that was let go, not Shane McMahon. So you see, Shane McMahon out, so then Vince has to step up.
I thought he was supposed to. I thought he was supposed to have Rollins at Mania if they did.
I don't know. I'm just making up something.
Oh, that's fair.
This is supposed to be entertainment.
That's fair. All right,
but yeah, so with
lies for entertainment, I'm gonna write that down on the new fucking set idea for the shows going forward. So the lie of the week,
the title unification. Now, do you think that with that we'll get an end to the brand split?
I've said this before. What I would want is not an end to the brand split, but an end to the split titles. I like the original draft idea before they decided to have Brock Lesnar leave a brand and not come back, and then introduce Triple H as the world heavyweight champion. I liked the original idea. Champion goes to both shows.
But when you have like 2 tag team titles, for example,
and they need to do it with all the
nothing
titles.
matters. Yeah, exactly. Merge the tag team, the women's and the men's world. I'm okay if you keep the US and the Intercontinental if it's all one show, because there is a lot of wrestlers, and you could have 2 mid-card titles. But as for all the other singles belts, keep the women's tag, but actually maybe do something with it, and then get rid of that ugly 24/7 title, please.
Or update it. It gives people something to do. I don't mind the 24/7 title.
Or make a better lower card title that's not with that gimmick.
No more titles. No more new titles, at least for like
replace with the hardcore. Do you think that WWE, or this is shifting gears, but do you think that either AEW or WWE could potentially have some sort of a hardcore title again, with AEW already doing some of that more hardcore death matchy-ish type stuff, but also maybe WWE eventually moving away from the PG and bringing back some more hardcore in that form? Not death match, but like hardcore.
It actually, death match is part of the reason I don't think they'll do it, because they're not in a position to do it better on a consistent basis. Because it's true, advertisers don't want to see that shit. That's not the market. So why bother with hardcore, which almost equally pisses off advertisers, and there's other people out there already doing shit way better.
Yeah. Well, and then with Revolution coming up, again, there's more wrestling. So we're talking about what we think will be interesting from the attraction matches, but I honestly can't think on the WrestleMania side of like an actual match that other than AJ and Edge potentially, but being like an actual banger, like being an actual great wrestling match.
Mm-hmm.
So without that, like again, AEW Revolution, like every match is going to be a great wrestling match, but with the WrestleMania, who do you think other than AJ and Edge could step up to maybe be the sleeper match of the night, or
I don't know, just because they don't have, it's definitely not announced yet. Whatever would be like the sleeper of the night, like, isn't announced.
Yeah,
because it, like, I mean, obviously the Edge match wouldn't be a sleeper because people are going to pay attention to it, especially if it's an AJ match or like anyone he hinted towards. And I mean, we talk about Revolution, we talk about Mania, we talk about both sides, and then there's Cody, and we don't know where the fuck Cody's going.
So with Cody,
because every other day, the other side seems. Honestly, it's become like any other politics, where like, depending on where you go grab an article or a paragraph to read about it, you could be convinced to think either side is true. Like they wouldn't go through all that public stuff. They wouldn't go through all that public stuff and all that if he wasn't going to WWE. And like, there was already, like they say, there was already drama, this, that, and the other, so it's totally believable he might go back to WWE. And then, you know, the other side's like, being the Elite's being filmed and is in Cody's tour bus still, and
and then even like with them saying like Omega saying or tweeting that I hear that Cody's on the way to Saudi Arabia right now, like trying to throw people off and shit. So who knows with Cody? I would like to see him in a high profile match. Like my thought was Johnny Knoxville not actually wrestling and him having the proxy and having that be Cody to take on Sami Zayn for the IC title. And for me, not only would that be a great match, thinking of Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, but also to have Cody bring back his white Intercontinental title belt and bring prestige back to the IC title.
I mean, the thing that sucks is like, well, I mean, Sami Zayn's got it now, but Nakamura had it for so long and could have made it so dope. He's such a good wrestler that they could have rebuilt that title on with just good fucking wrestling.
But he's wrestling Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin.
I know.
Trash Corbin every week.
And I don't even think that Corbin's trash. It's just the way he's positioned is
matches.
The way he's positioned is trash. So
we didn't even see him defend the title in like how long before that, and it seemed like every time he did, it was Baron Corbin.
Yeah. Did he defend it against
Sammy?
I was gonna say he didn't defend it against Madcap, did he? Or did he even wrestle him?
I think he did recently. Again, the last few weeks, just skimming through.
Madcap's a big thumbs down.
Raw and SmackDown. Madcap Moss could be good if his cheesiness was done well. And there's an art to bad comedy being good.
And he's
not doing it.
No.
He's not doing it with the writing. He's not doing it with his delivery. He's not terrible in the ring, but they make him look goofy with his suspenders and the obvious pairing with Corbin being already a downvote for us. He's got everything against him. I think he can redeem himself.
Actually, and that's I should say, because I mean, instead of like, I don't want to just shit on Corbin. My solution is he needs to gamble the wrong way this time. Because I want Bum Corbin back. Bum Corbin was
He's
fucking
gotta
good.
Lose and go broke or something.
Bad luck.
Go bankrupt.
Bad luck Baron. I want bad luck Baron.
Maybe Madcap can rob him.
He could be like the bad luck Brian meme.
What if he has his identity stolen by Madcap Moss? And he becomes Madcap Corbin. And he can't wrestle, and all of his opportunities, all of his merchandise, money is going to Corbin. He's like, no, he's to Moss, but Corbin's like, no, it's fraud. It's
if it'll make him poor again, do it. I don't care how terrible.
It's a stolen identity. I'm the real Corbin.
You probably,
and then no one believes him.
That's one of those things you shouldn't say out loud because it might happen. It'd be fucking terrible.
But at least he'd go back to being down on his luck Corbin. What was he called again when he was unhappy Corbin?
He was just Baron Corbin again.
No. He was like broke Corbin, or like he was something before happy Corbin.
He was just Baron Corbin and he was broke.
I could have sworn that they called him
because he was King Corbin before then.
King Corbin, and then he became something else Corbin before he was happy Corbin again.
I don't know, but if we say
why is this on the format of your show when we're supposed to talk about things that we remember and your show is based on that?
I don't know, but if we say Corbin too many times, I'm probably gonna fucking forget
Corbin. When you say it enough though, when you say it enough though, it starts to lose its meaning. Like if you say Oreo so many times in a row.
Yeah.
Fridge. Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's a good thing because then he'll just fade away into obscurity. We say that, but we joke. He is a good worker. He
poor
really
Corbin.
is.
Poor Corbin.
It's not his fault. Poor Corbin. Was it poor Corbin? That's probably what it was.
Speaking of poor Corbin, poor fucking half the roster that isn't going to be around to enjoy being in WWE 2K22.
If you count all of the DLC and all of the legends along with the 35 released wrestlers, it's almost or about the same half of the game of the roster are not currently in the WWE. And it's not unusual for the legends part, but it just seems like that's a big number of the whole playable roster
Yeah.
to not be part of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I'm almost upset that Adam Cole didn't make the cut, because you'd have had all of that, like that part of the Undisputed Era still in the
Bobby
game.
Fish isn't in it either.
Oh, Bobby's
It's
not
only
in it?
O'Reilly. Yeah.
I didn't notice O'Reilly was in it and Bobby wasn't.
Yeah, it's just O'Reilly.
Oh.
And they don't have Gunther in the game.
They have Walter.
They only have Walter.
I don't even know who Walter is.
He's again another one not in the WWE anymore.
He's been deleted.
Yeah, we need
Like
Gunther. They should at least do an update for names. Like I get it for the problem is, of course, the audio. I should say I'll backtrack that, but
you know what? Because I said that when we were hanging out the other week, and I was like, it's just a change of text. I never thought the audio. Either.
Exactly, the commentary, and I'm sure he's featured heavily in the story modes and everything. Yeah. So on that topic,
although I'm all for hearing Gunther patchovers.
An
excellent suplex by Gunther.
You could have Matthew do the Gunther voiceover over it, not even have the actual Gunther. But so with one thing I want to talk about with 2K is so they have the GM mode. GM mode,
yeah,
it's looks cool. There's some downsides, the lack of mid-card titles, tag team rivalries, etc.
Substance, playability.
But the one that
long-term investment.
Yeah, exactly. But the one that I'm, I guess, more intrigued by in terms of not what it is now, but what it could become is the My Faction. And for anyone that doesn't know, the My Faction mode is basically like their version of My Team in 2K, NBA 2K, and card collecting for building the ultimate team to beat or be better than the NWO.
So is there a point of doing that if you don't get the NWO version?
Well, I think it's like the goal, like there's going to be weekly events and like all the same things as like in the other 2K series where you'll collect your cards and you'll go play
it's just because you said rewards. To be better than the NWO. Is that the actual goal?
I don't know, but that's what they're framing it as. Like they're using that to promote. Like
I did just because I just didn't know if it was like made it like pointless to play if you didn't get the NWO version.
I don't know because they haven't given the full details yet, and they showed some of the cards so far, which is cool for anyone that loves opening packs, digital packs, whatever. But unlike some of the other games where you get that those digital packs, like let's say in the show, I can get a Frank Thomas card, and now I have Frank Thomas on my team. And with all the different sports games that do that, they're letting you play as these cards. They're releasing new cards, and then you're playing as them. Where in WWE, they're going to have to do like a tier system instead or something, because you're not going to get new wrestlers, right? Like you're like other than what's included in the DLC, they're not going to put new wrestlers for that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that what they might do is maybe different costumes based on certain cards. So like let's say you have an epic Bret Hart 1992 SummerSlam card, and that gives you his attire from that one, and that's another way that they could add updates to the game to make it last longer. Yeah, using the card system. And again, maybe not right now.
But you say last longer.
Maybe
do you think they're gonna still come out with a game yearly?
It depends.
Again, now
that's something that could prolong the series, not just for the updates and everything, but also for that digital currency and that BC points and collect and paying those to get
like
more
do they
packs.
Take a year and a half and then put it back on the fall schedule?
Yeah, like something like that would be great, and then to be able to transfer some of that stuff over into the new one.
Because then take another year and a half to work on the next one, put it back on the traditional fall release schedule, and then at that point you should have a good enough game base that you could develop yearly.
Yeah, some people don't like the format of the card pack games because they think that it's like pay to win, or you gotta grind to get the good cards to have the best team and everything. But to me and to some other people that do like it, at least for certain games that do it right, it's a way to prolong
Yeah.
playing the game. It gives you new things to do, new content.
Realistically, I'm going to try everything for a little bit, and then I'm just going to flip to straight universe mode and blank everything else out and live in my bubble.
And what I would like to see with that is right now with the GMO, this is the first GMO they've done since, 07 or 08 or whatever it was. But with this one, what I think could happen is they could take everything that they did from that and then eventually merge the universe and the GM mode. So then you can still do whatever you have the freedom of the universe mode, but it's based around the format of more competition, maybe having
because
more
the
things,
universe does track
contracts,
contenders. It does track contenders already.
Yeah, so it already has a lot of those pieces, but I'm glad that they didn't do that right away, because don't touch universe for that, refine and make the GM part work, and then put that as part of the universe and homogenize the two modes together. So that's what I like to see. And then also with the 2K, just the cross-platform of the creations. So many times, an issue being that you download an awesome wrestler, you see you're out of friends and you see an awesome wrestler, and then you want to download that one for yourself, and you go look for that creator, but they run an Xbox or something. And
the cross-platform is going to be awesome, because I have that problem too. When I'll look stuff up online, like just on my phone on the side to see what's good. And then I'm like, oh, wrong system. And
exactly.
That problem won't be there.
Exactly. So even though it's not cross-play against other consoles, the community creations, that's a big deal, especially with being able to upload your textures and your own custom textures and all these other things. This is probably going to be, and I know it improves every year, but the best creation suite and community that we have seen yet in a wrestling game. Here's hoping.
Yeah. Now I did see, speaking on the gaming point too, Kenny Omega had said in an interview when talking about the AEW game that he's flat out said it isn't going to have the bells and whistles,
flashy graphics.
But the stuff that I've seen so far of that game, the footage they've shown of it, looks dope. So I don't know what he's talking about, but
there's
that kind of discouraged me about that game a little bit. I'm like, oh, don't be saying.
Well, they want to concentrate on gameplay, and that's what he wants to focus on. And I think that sometimes we underestimate wrestling games and their graphics and their longevity. Because you have No Mercy still being played today.
Yeah.
You have Fire Pro Wrestling that's still being played today.
Yeah, well, I mean, updated.
For 2D, having some really good creations, facial textures, things like that. And then you have and then what you have is the completely forgot what I was going to say about it. What was I saying about the community creation and the creation suite being better?
Oh, just that every year how that gets better, but you think this one's gonna set it.
Oh yeah, no. Sorry, it was about the graphics of the older games. Again, why is this the format of the goddamn show? So
strap in.
And there was another game I was going to say. It was GameCube, WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, Day of Reckoning 2. Those graphics still hold up today. Those are still some of the best character models in wrestling. And today, people play it with an enhanced graphic on their emulator, and it looks like better than some of the two. They compared that. So GameCube era, 2002, 2003 era, just enhanced a little bit versus the last few 2K games, especially 2K20, and it just blowing it away and looking better in terms of the models. So you can do good quality with less, and they might not do the cartoony look that it seems like that they're doing in the original screenshots that we've seen so far.
Well, yeah, but, the Kenny Omega renders I see, it's got
cool.
The deep chest lines. It's not, I wouldn't say cartoony, but it's almost
really early too.
It's almost like finely tuned action figures in the way that they're defined.
Yeah, I did see a problem with like Darby Allin's, like, and so I think
it's the face paint
So-
too, and the little like the paint on him and the type of gear he wears. He's very like
they
he's
might
not
have
super
redone
covered,
it.
but yeah.
They might have redone some of the models.
Well,
or
they're
the
gonna
models
they're gonna redo them over
and look
over
how much
and
their
over
roster has
again.
changed. So since they first announced the game and since they showed that early footage, look how much the roster has changed. So with that right now what they've been working on is definitely the gameplay. They'll add the other parts after, it seems like, and that way it'll be more up to date from wrestler standpoint. And we know that the majority of the time they've been working on it, they've been working on the actual gameplay and making it fun for people to play and for people to just be able to pick it up and play with others and have that feeling, even though it's not supposed to be a clone of No Mercy, but just to have that No Mercy feel that anyone could play. It was a fun old jolly time.
All right. Well, we'll definitely talk more about the pending 2K game, obviously, as it comes closer. What do we got? It comes out next week?
Next week, March 8th, or 3 days earlier than that. If you
I thought 8th was the early day.
It could be. It's whatever day is the Friday, and then it comes out on the Tuesday.
Okay, so the 8th, yeah.
That would be the 8th.
Yeah, so you would get it on the 8th. So we will get it the day of the next show, but it will already have been recorded the night before. So we'll have a whole week of the game in 2 weeks from now. But I'm sure we'll have tiny bits more information the night before. We'll be awaiting it. And gonna take a second to plug some shows that I've got coming up soon. So hey, March 13th at the Rock Pile, New Frontier is doing their first show. That's at 5555 Dundas. And I'm scheduled, as it stands, my understanding is to tag team with that Kyle against Pretty Ricky Wilde and a fucking mystery opponent. I don't know who it is. Again, I mean, it'd be pretty cool if it was Hard Body. No, just kidding. Hey, buddy. And then a week later, Hamilton at the Hamilton Convention Center. I'm in that Unlucky 7 matchup featuring Madman Pondo and a whole slew of Ontario crazies. And yeah, that's what I got coming up. And then obviously April, we're waiting for more details on the next No Ring North show, WrestleMania. Now, let's talk next week because we're running down to the wire. So on WrestleMania, obviously, they're running out of time to build the big feuds. So next week, I say we talk about WrestleMania matches with shitty builds. You bring 5, I bring 5, and we bring you guys our shittiest WrestleMania build list.
I can already think of a few, but yeah, we'll save it.
Well, there we go. All right, well then that's it for this week. That's it for this week. Thanks for joining. This is Chris Holler, and as always, I'm PD Skillz, and you'll be seeing some more of us. So smell you.